Okay, welcome back to episode 12, the final episode of my Age of Wonders 3 challenge series, specifically my Tier 1, T1, Orc Spearman only challenge. And so it is turn 66, and I have defeated the 5th and final Emperor level AI unit, AI squad, I should say. And all 5 of these folks were allied with each other, and you can see what the final map looks like. So I had taken out the Goblin Theocrat's capital here. I had killed their Goblin Theocrat hero, which was here and escaped to the water. Saw that in the last. So, I started here, went down this way primarily, right? My main force went this way, including an underground force, but then I did send some people underground this way and overground this way. Build up a lot of roads and infrastructure to keep troops moving efficiently. But this will be a recap episode since a lot of stuff happened. I was getting a lot of festivals and research breakthroughs because of all that happiness. So pretty healthy knowledge by the end, mana and gold, of course. Let's see where to start. Well, y'all want to see some battles, I'm sure. So we'll highlight some key ones. I think this is the second one. So this is Namlik defending in the capital. Not terribly interesting with that. So let's see the prior battle. So not that. All right, so cleared some people out. That was easy enough. A single unit up there. Yes, okay. So I took out 2 shrines and a sphinx. I autoed this because, the game's almost over. I didn't feel the need to manual. I would allow it to be inefficient. So I just let the computer auto-combated. And when I lost this assault, I was like, okay, that's expected. But I was glad that at least I had taken out 2 shrines of smiting. So this was their original defense force. I thinned out a few of them with this auto combat, and then I came in with a second triple set of units to take them out of the game, which is what those first few battle summaries you saw towards the start of the episode showed that. So I'll let this play out a little bit just so you can see how bad the AI is. Oh God. Oh my goodness. Oh, that's crazy. So they exited the walls to do this. Wow. That's crazy. And this is why it sucks to fight Theocrats. But yeah, this also explains why we were able to take out these guys. So, I mean, they could have stayed behind the walls and decimated me just as easily, but instead they exposed a few of their shrines. It's really interesting. Oof. Big hits. Big hits. There we go. Oh, come on. Yeah. So yeah, had I manualed this, I would have likely gotten some more favorable results, but I didn't need to because I just got so many troops waiting in the wings. So those were the interesting ones. Namlik, yeah, so he went out after a single unit. So this is where I took out the leader on the water where he was trying to run. It's a one-off unit. So that was up here. Yeah, I was trying to snipe. So that's this. So these up here. Okay, so we can show this. This is their capital city. So you can see how this went. This I autoed as well, as far as I recall. Yeah, I don't remember fighting this manually. All that mighty chip damage. I don't know. I mean, the movement. No, I might have done this manually, actually, because I don't think AI would go up manually like that. Because I think I was. Yeah, we'll see. I'll get it better. The one thing I was noticing, there were very few ranged units here. Okay, yeah, so they exit the walls. Yeah. Yeah, I can't remember. Yet. Yeah, but what else? What else do we need to say? So, you know, I took out this leader over the water. This was the capital siege battle, taking them out. I think one of these stacks had some of the champion 6 and champion 5 people. Wow. And then, yeah, I already showed the battles of taking out the capital, and that capital did have that last AI's leader in it for that final battle. So that one battle took both the capital and the leader. Just look at that massive Orc Spearman. Yeah. Interesting movement. Yeah, so you, I think you get the picture. You get the picture. So, you know, in past turns I've kind of highlighted key themes, but I'll go over some basics. So the gist is that it's quite doable. Yeah, let's see if I did anything else. No, it was still just these 3 things. You know, 100 plus troops, monoculture and primeval, migrating everybody, 44 migrations, 8 independent, buying favor, vassling a few. Everybody else is really pissed. It can't show all the cities. It maxes out. I just stopped producing spearmen once I knew the game was over, just so I wouldn't have to click through more units. I just put everybody on merchandise. Few cities with really high production. 248. It's crazy. That is crazy. Look at all that. It's my highest gold city. Gold? Where's that coming from? 3 gold mines. And so you can see. Now this is actually a lot fewer troops than when I counted this an episode or 2 ago, right? Because a lot of those 5 or 6 stacks got chewed through in some battles, right? So I was starting to churn through my numbers. So it was good that I was producing everything that I was producing, but it's a lot of people. I wonder, it'd be cool if it sorted them by like champion level. I think I got champion 6 up in some of them. This guy got to level 7 just hiding in the corner from casting spells the whole time. A lot of casting points. Let's see. Let's Okay, so 4 authorities, several embracings, and then all that stuff was up. What? Okay, let's see. With this, okay, warfare, 3 of the hearts, and then 7 of my cities had palaces. So yeah, flowed this way, and then a little bit this way, both under and over ground. Just using builders to keep troop movement. The explorer specialization absolutely key. I don't think I need a destruction adept or shadowborn adept. I would have rather gone to something else. I'll have to think about what I would have gone to instead. But I'll think about it some more and articulate it in my Steam guide, which there will be a link to in the description of this video. Check out that Steam guide for my advice on how to replicate this if you just want to use a race's T1 crappy irregular unit, how you can do that successfully. Yeah, so it was tough earlier on just using Orc Spearman units, and doing structures where you had to go inside for just 6 units is very challenging, but once you got some champion levels, it was possible with some smart splitting of the enemies. And then siege battles were really brutal when you had to go through the gates. And had the AI been smarter rather than leaving their gates sometimes it could have been a lot harder. But I think just because of the sheer numbers difference of 5 or 6 of my stacks of units versus 1 or 2 stacks of theirs, a lot of times they would, I guess, leave their walls, especially if they had big AoE spells that they could do. But yeah, it's not otherwise too much more complicated than that. I never actually tried to break through that city after losing, and I just sent guys through and went underground to finish them here. And my underground units, by and large, had not yet reached here. I think a few of these units had come from, yeah, that's true. I barely had like 3 units that took over, 3 stacks that took over Dragon City come up through here and reinforce. So it did end up being helpful, I think, by the end of it. But otherwise, yeah, my underground units were just clearing secondary cities and independence for the most part. But that did help with economy and taking out, bandit camps and stuff that would spawn stuff that would be a problem for my cities. So yeah, just kind of keeping a steady wall of troops heading in a direction and keeping everything clear behind you was a viable strategy. But you can definitely just use Orc Spearman to do everything, and a little, I could have modified the challenge so that I was never allowed to cast anything in battles. It didn't end up being essential. It would have slowed me down a little bit because spells helped me, battle spells helped me in a pinch here and there, but it wasn't essential. You could do without it. As far as like strategic spells though, some of those proved to, I think, be pretty darn helpful. Specifically, global assault is really good for quality of life. Not essential, but just really makes these masses of troops that much better. I lost a lot fewer units because of global assault. Draft was really lovely, I think, especially if I was defending against my city being dread sieged by a warlord. And yeah, I think in my prior video when I go over spells and abilities and stuff in depth, so go to my prior video if you want to hear me talk in depth about like what strategic spells, battlefield spells, and empire upgrades I found to be really essential. So check out that prior video for that. But otherwise, I hope you enjoyed this challenge series. I was really, really curious to see what this has been like. I hope you've seen my past challenge series with like heroes only or single stack only, only able to use 6 units the entire game, or my weak starting army challenge where I start with 6 units characterized as a weak starting army by the game and was able to use them to win against 5 allied AI Emperor opponents. So check out my other challenge series. They each kind of provide a different emphasis for the game. And with this one, it was definitely macro. It was definitely economy based, right? Not as much micro based, because there's only so much you can do with these Orc Spearmen. But they proved, as far as T1 irregulars go, racially, far and away, definitely the best. They definitely proved their worth when I was thinking about what race to go with. The Orc Spearmen are excellent with the war cry for added DPS. The sprint, a lot of flexibility, a lot of survivability comes from that. So much more movement from that. The victory rush early on to keep their health up from battle to battle. Armor piercing came into effect a little bit here and there. First strike and charger from the draft. This stuff from the Explorer specialization was nice. The physical protection later game from the Deity Empire upgrade was really nice, I think. But yeah, the sprint and the war cry are definitely essential for helping this be a pretty solid tier 1 unit. So if you're going to use tier 1 units, these are definitely the best. I might do a future challenge series where I limit myself to tier 1 irregulars of some other race that are probably much less effective than Orc Spearmen, which are more effective. Because now that I've seen this is possible to beat 5 Allied Emperor AIs with just these, I think we can make it even more challenging, in spite of the other restrictions, like me not being able to settle cities and stuff like that I put in place. So it was a very fun challenge, a lot of macro management, a lot of troop movement, just a lot of stuff to move every turn, made for some very long turns. But definitely something worth trying. So thanks for checking this out. Check out my other challenge series videos, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks. Oh yeah, wait, let's do this. Let's do this. So score, so you can see my brown here, so I'm below everybody else, and then by turn 45 is where I come ahead of the pack, and then here at turn 51, in the 50s is where I really start to exponentially improve score. Knowledge is behind everybody until here where I'm catching up, but it's really here around turn 30 where it starts to pick up as infrastructure grows. Happiness is kind of meaningless. Military, so you can see here at turn 37, it starts to go pretty fast, and then 49 up, it starts to go. And then I take some big losses as I'm capturing stuff here. So that accounts like for these dips where I lose 4 to 6 stacks of units. But otherwise a steady rise. And then I start to eclipse them here in turn 39, and it's just up and up from there. And that's it. Yeah. All right. See you later.